Hello, I'm Arun Gupta and work for Oracle as a Java technology advocate. I'm here with Martijn and Stephan to talk about Adopt-a-JSR. So Martijn, tell us about Adopt-a-JSR.
So Adopt-a-JSR was something that a bunch of us sort of dreamt up of about a year and a half ago now. We were basically complaining about, I think, the JMS spec at the time and saying, oh, those designers don't know what they're doing, Oracle doesn't know what they're doing, Sun doesn't know what they're doing, we should have some input into this process before it comes out as a standard. And so we decided to do exactly that and try and connect with the people who are creating the standards early so we can, as developers, we can help them evolve a standard which is good for developers. So yeah, it sort of kicked off a year and a half ago and it's been spreading around the world ever since.
Excellent. So Stephan, you took that, you understood that Adopt-a-JSR model, and as part of Belgian JUG, you took that model and applied that to Java E7, which is coming live.
Exactly.
So tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it wasn't me personally. It was Johan Vos who couldn't make it, unfortunately. So Johan Vos said, well, this is a really great idea. Let's really back this up with the Belgian Java User Group. And we could basically choose which JSR we have a bit more affection with. And his personal choice was the 356 WebSockets one. And so we started promoting that. And the first thing we did is maybe we should do a hacker garden type of thing, do a hackathon around that. So basically we can read the spec, play with the API, and then start thinking of so what should we then do with it? Just play with it? No. And then he came with the idea, let's write a sample application. So he joined up with Steen van den Ende and Johan, and they both prepared an application. We had an evening session at Oracle Belgium, I think around 6 o'clock till 10:30, 11ish, and we hacked away. And what was really nice, they wrote a tic-tac-toe application with a server and a JavaFX client and an HTML5 one. And then there were some other people already in the room who have Android experience. There was another guy who knows about iOS. So when the evening was done, we had 4 different clients talking to the same server.
Yeah, cool.
We found a few bugs, we changed it, we open sourced it, of course, and now we have a nice reference application on that JSR, which we adopted as a user group.
Excellent. So I think, as Martijn was saying, the idea was to provide feedback before the spec actually becomes standard, find the bugs, try out, and then be successful.
Yeah, well, I think we were a bit too late to still give feedback on the actual spec, so we were more a bit, so that we had to change our focus a bit and say maybe we can just write an application, then at least that can be used by other developers as a reference point, more or less.
It's a learning guide.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So that could definitely be a strategy for other user groups as well, if they want to do something like that. It's more concrete. Code, we like to write code instead of just reading the spec. It's a bit more boring. So you need to find the right people and the right profiles to see what dynamic you want to take place.
Yeah, as a developer, I want the code to do the talking with me instead of spec to do the talking with me. That's always a lot more real.
Specs by their very nature are pretty dry documents to read. The Java language specification is it's painful, but it's for real language geeks only, I think. So
the problem, of course, with that approach is that we did find a few issues, and it was already too late because the spec is more or less finalized. Right. So that's the only downside. Right. But it still needs to be fun for us as well to do this, otherwise it doesn't happen. Right.
Yeah. No, absolutely. As part of Java E7, I guess London Java community also did some hack days, not just Java E7, but the broader Java community.
Broader Java community, so London's been also focusing on WebSockets and JSON, and a little bit on the CDI spec. We're quite big fans of dependency injection over here. But we have really been focusing, we have a lot of core financial services people here in London, so there is a lot of focus on Java, the language itself, or the platform itself. So doing a lot of work with the Lambdas coming in Java 8, and of course the new date and time API coming in Java 8. So those two have been very, very well received hack days. They sell out within half an hour, and everyone has a really great time. And people like Brian Gertz will actually come over and run the lab with us, which is fantastic from Oracle to have him come over and do that. It's really cool. Good. Yeah. And I get to learn about functional programming. So that's great fun.
Two wins.
Really cool. Yeah,
that's a true win-win actually. You win, Oracle wins, Java community wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've seen that particular model of Adopt-a-JSR being adopted by about 30 JUGs worldwide.
Nice.
And when I say worldwide, literally worldwide, Asia Pacific, Europe, Africa, South America, North America, we still have to open a jug in Antarctica, I guess.
I know. I remember getting a ping from Max in Congo, and I'm like, man, they're doing this in Congo. How cool is that? It's really good fun.
So it's really community feedback driven. It's very positive.
Exactly. I mean, I would like to conclude with, I went to Gothenburg JUG 2 months back. I walk into the room, there it says, speak up, be heard. If you don't say a word, nothing will change. To me, that truly captures the essence of Adopt-a-JSR, as in like you guys are providing feedback to the different JSRs and making sure it's relevant at least.
And what is really nice as well, a big shout out to the people involved, because they do listen, the spec leads and so on. They really have they appreciate it that you do this, and they are really returning whatever comments we give. They really give feedback back, and so there's a nice dynamic going on there. Nice synergies.
It's a really tough and lonely job being a spec lead and being in the expert group, right? And it must feel like quite often that no one's caring about the work you're doing.
Exactly.
So, I also hope that just by people even just using the API like you guys did, building the little game is a really nice validation of their work, I think. So it's really nice.
So overall, I think Adopt-a-JSR effort has been really successful for the community because it's truly a grassroots evangelism. You learn the technology, you provide feedback, make it better before it actually becomes a standard. And it's been very successful.
Yeah, hope to see it grow even more next year. Honestly, the Antarctica JUG, that's a great idea, actually.
Do you want to move there?
Yeah, why not? Be great to have a Java 1 Antarctica, right? Or a DevOps Antarctica.
No way.
Well, thank you, Martijn and Stephan.
Cool, thanks,
welcome. Thank you.
And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Cool.
All right. That was a neat little discussion. I mean, I walked